Astros went out and signed Jake Odorizzi to a 2-year, $20.25 million deal to be one of the Astros' reliable starters. And then he only lasts 3 innings in a big game versus the Red Sox. He's pulled after only 76 pitches. What is going on in Houston? We will talk about this and more on today's Locked On Astros podcast.
It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day, even after we lose a pathetic snooze fest like today's game. Brett, where can they find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive because we got the series win, always Stros.
Alrighty, and today's episode is brought to you by Locker Room. Download the app and join us this week. We're probably going to do a show after one of the Blue Jays games, maybe Friday or Saturday, just so we can interact with you during the weekend, because everybody always says, well, we don't hear what y'all have to say on the weekend. So this is a perfect opportunity. Locker Room, it's changing the way we talk sports. And you can get Locked On Astros on YouTube now. Go ahead and subscribe to us. We're all the way up to 330 something.
335 right now.
335. So guys, go out there. We're trying to get to 500, and from 500, we're trying to get up to 1,000. So go subscribe to us on YouTube, and don't forget you can also listen to us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, wherever you listen to your podcast, you can listen to the Locked On Astros podcast. And I am not surprised at all with the outcome of the game on Sunday. The Red Sox were not going to go quietly in the night. They're going to beat up on the Astros in one of these games. And unfortunately, it was Jake Odorizzi who got the brunt of it. And he actually didn't really pitch that bad. That one home run was a 339 Crawford box special. It was one of those that would not go out in any other ballpark but Minute Park. But unfortunately, it was a 3-run shot. You allow the double, then you walk a batter, and then you allow a 3-run homer. The Astros were already down 3-0. He only pitches 3 innings, and then you bring in the bullpen. Perez did a good job. Christian Javier did allow 2 runs, but by that point, the Astros weren't doing anything against Martin Perez.
Mm-mm. Yeah, but, Martin Perez, I think last pitched against the Astros, what it said in 2017. We hadn't seen him in a while, but the last time he pitched against us, he was really good. And Martin Perez has been a solid starter for the Red Sox. He was doing what he needed to do. And, Jake Odorizzi was just leaving a lot over the plate, like complete meatball pitches. That ball that was hit out should have been hit out. That's one of those fastballs that, that a hitter gets and gets under it and fouls off. And they're like, when you hear Blummer say, oh, he missed that pitch, like he didn't miss that pitch. He got all of it.
It had a 0.20 expected batting average, or sorry, 0.020 expected batting average.
Right. But even if the guy's batting zero, when you got a center cut fastball coming in like that, that is BP all day for any major leaguer. You got to realize that there's only 750 major league players in the world, and they are the best at what they do. And so no matter who they are or where they're at, if you give them meatball pitches, they're going to crush them. And, Eric, here's the thing. the long and the short of it is we won 3 out of 4 against the Red Sox. We came away on a homestand against 3 teams, solid teams. We were 5-4 on the homestand. We could have easily been 7-2. Those 2 games against San Diego should have been our games, and we'd let them get away. Today's loss, it's funny. We had 4 hits yesterday, and we scored enough runs to win. We hit 7 hits yesterday, and we didn't score enough runs, and we only scored 1 run. So baseball is a funny sport like that. Nothing overly concerning. A lot of the big guys were out of the lineup today. They sat both Correa and Tucker, which I was surprised both of them sat, but Correa had played 10 straight games. You're about to go on the road. You have a day off, so give him an extra day. So I was a little hypercritical of that at first, but when I started thinking about it and interacting with the fans, it made a little bit of sense. But it was like, man, we didn't have a ton of people in there, and the guys that are in there aren't doing great. Gurriel, though, the one bright spot, he went 3 for 4, Eric.
Yeah. And so Odorizzi said he's still trying to refine his stuff, and I going to keep doing that. We'll focus on some stuff and in the bullpen and make some adjustments. He said he just had a bad command start. That's really how he would sum it up. It's one thing to have good stuff, and it happens, but I would say my stuff I wouldn't say my stuff was good at any point today. There were some shades of it, but overall, it was just a bad start. And then you had Christian Javier. He came in, and he was kind of shaky throughout the game too. Yeah, he kind of he got in bases loaded trouble too in his first inning, and he was able to wiggle his way out of it. Then he had a good inning, his second inning. Then the third inning is when he kind of gave up the run, if I remember correctly. And it was just not a great game for the Astros. And overall, it could have been a lot worse. And Dusty Baker, after a game, he said we could have been down after we lost those games to San Diego, which we could have easily won, kind of like you said, but we came back against a very good team and won 3 of 4. And so that, like you said, you can really look to see the positives in the series. But the Red Sox are a very good team, and Luis Garcia, John Morosi went on national TV and said that he thinks that Luis Garcia is actually an all-star candidate with what he's done so far this year. And that says something for what this guy has done.
Yeah, I mean, the league's taking notice because all his losses should have been wins, Eric. I mean, he went out and, his first 4 starts, he didn't get a win because he didn't get any run support. The moment he started getting run support, he started winning. He's 4-3 now on the season. He could easily, Eric, we could be talking about a 7-0 pitcher right now. I'm not even lying. Like he could easily have a 6-1 or 7-0 record. And I think it's great that he's being recognized for what he's doing as a rookie. And I think the 2 pitchers that are set up to be selected by the coaches and players to the All-Star team is Ryan Presley and Luis Garcia right now. Those are my 2 candidates for the All-Star, and we can get into that as the All-Star voting just started. If you guys are on Twitter, check out the little Twitter campaign we got going on. Our first 2 candidates we boasted were Alex Bregman and Yuli Gurriel, and we'll have more. We're probably just going to put the guys that we think that are deserving of the All-Star vote later on. If we've got some fans that want to see some others, we may make campaign posters just to put them up there because we know Houston fans vote for all the Astros, just like every Yankee fan votes for every Yankee, even though they're not deserving. So,
but one thing you have to keep in mind are people across baseball going to vote for the Astros?
That is a great question.
I know that Dodgers fans are not going to be voting for the Astros. I know Yankees fans, unless they're saying F Altuve, and Altuve's in their mind, they're going to be just clicking on Altuve.
They were doing it at a basketball game, Eric. At a basketball game, at a basketball playoff game. They were saying F Altuve at the Brooklyn Nets game or something. I was like, this is absurd. These guys are freaking obsessed. You know why? I guess that makes Jose Altuve their daddy.
This is what Morosi said about Luis Garcia. He says he belongs in an MLB All-Star game. As I said on MLB Network today, he's a 5-pitch starter who has thrown 210 breaking pitches, sliders, and curveballs this season. Only 1 has resulted in an extra base hit. Okay. So that's pretty darn good. And the Astros have a whole bunch of good starters this year. Yes, they don't have the big sexy name like Justin Verlander in the rotation. I know that right now Lance McCullers is injured, but this staff is going to be good. And as soon as McCullers comes back, what are you going to do with Luis Garcia? And somebody asked earlier, Joshua said, is Garcia going to replace Odorizzi? I'm not sure. I don't think anybody knows.
Well, here's the thing.
I almost asked Dusty Baker. Next time I'm in the press conference call, I may ask that, but I didn't think it was the right time just because.
So did you get a question in today?
No, no, I didn't. I'm gonna get the nerve next time. I'm gonna get the nerve.
Okay. So you were merely a spectator. You were like, I'm here in the world of McTaggart and Rome and Kaplan. Okay, no, that's cool. Hey,
next time I'll get the nerve to actually ask a question.
Okay, pop quiz, because you wrote the note. Let's see if you remember the note that you took. What number fastball did Rafael Devers hit a double that was 108 miles an hour off the bat? The 50th.
Yes.
It took 50. They threw 50 fastballs to Devers before he got a hold of one.
Yeah, it's like the Astros were betting on the fact that he couldn't hit it. Yeah. And so speaking of betting, let's talk about betonline.ag.
Dude, I mean, why go anywhere else? BetOnline.ag is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your sports action. We know baseball's in full swing. Duh. We're going to the Blue Jays. We're going to the Toronto Buffalo Blue Jays to watch them. How many home runs will Jordan hit into Canada? How many strikeouts will the Astros pitchers get? We'll go to BetOnline. The latest news, the odds, all the sporting needs, including MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC, MMA, whatever you want before the next pitch or before the next basket is shot. Go to BetOnline on your laptop and mobile device and check out all the great sporting news. Sign up for bonuses and contest information. Don't sit on the sidelines anymore, as this is your chance to get in the game as your team prepares for a long season or a playoff push. Head to the website and use your mobile device or your laptop and receive your 50% welcome bonus. That's right. Your first deposit, you'll get a 50% welcome bonus from BetOnline. You got to use a promo code Locked On. Remember, they are your online sportsbook experts.
Everybody's the lineup experts for who Dusty Baker should put in the lineup. So what about Sports Trade? What can they offer?
Man, you are just talking my game today. Sports Trade is where fantasy and the stock market meet. So if you're a trader and you love fantasy sports, listen up. This is really cool. I can't believe that nobody else has thought about this concept before, as Sports Trade truly takes fantasy to the next level. Their platform allows you to buy and sell shares in your favorite players, like Rafael Devers or Jordan Alvarez, or Aledmys Diaz, who did great today, or Yuli Gurriel, who went 3 for 4. Making money with Sports Trade is simple. Player values rise and fall with 2 factors. Here they are. Number 1, their performance in each game compared to their projected fantasy points. And then number 2, the good old supply and demand, baby. I mean, that's it. The more shares that are purchased in the player, the higher the value goes. So buy all those shares in the Yuli gang. You buy your shares in those guys. Get Luis Garcia. He's the rookie. He's on the rise. Get the seasoned veteran, the grizzled veteran, Alex Bregman. He's hitting over 300, a hot start this year. Simply go to sportstrade.com and watch the How It Works video to sign up and get started today. This is truly the evolution of fantasy sports. I really think you'll be amazed. Don't sit on the sidelines any longer. Get in the action at sportstrade.com.
All right. Yes, I do agree, Joshua and Squared guy. I do believe that it is the right option to take Odorizzi out of the rotation in favor of Garcia, but you spent $10 million to bring Odorizzi in. It's going to take
a lot. He's going to have to throw the ball over the net behind the catcher 5 times in a row before, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be something obvious. And hey, we're going to have to address this right here. I would love to get a Bagwell jersey signed, but I will not replace the McGuire jersey. He was my dude growing up, and I got that signed in person in 1998 in the Astrodome, the game where he hit his 11th upper deck home run in the Astrodome. So why not, All
right. I knew you were going to go into that. That's fine.
I have to.
Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, Yuli got hot again, and Brett mentioned that earlier. He had that ninth inning worthless shutout breaking home run. But yeah, it's good to see him get that home run after that jamming his finger against the Dodgers. So it's good to see him get going again, because that's important, because this guy is a big part of the lineup. Now we need to see Alvarez get going. I know he had that big first game back, but he had over for today. I think Bregman had over again, and then you had a few other guys had over. I know Straw had over, and
Jonesy was over, Altuve was over. So
yeah, and you're going to have some guys a lot to the, especially when you have a left-handed guy. I think Perez has really kind of pitched really good against the Astros in the past. I believe he pitched with the Rangers before, and he's kind of had good games against the Astros. Then there's other games that he's kind of dominated them and struggled. So it was just not the Astros days, and I was at the game and just looked like they had no idea what was coming, and making weak contact.
They were looking at a lot of pitches. Miles Straw was going down looking, which is kind of atypical of him this year. He's striking out a lot looking. A lot of the other Astros were also striking out looking as well. Yeah. And hey, IOA squared OI. That's a weird. I don't know how you say that.
That's why I just said squared.
Yeah, actually behind me, I actually have a ball signed by King Griffey Jr. and King Griffey Sr. on the sweet spot. So King Griffey Jr. was my dude as well. Anyways, so Diaz I thought should have been in the lineup yesterday. As well. I think Diaz needs to get more starts. I think he should have started over Robel Garcia.
But he had a little toot to bomb, or whatever they say, the little running error where he was trying to steal the base, and he went way before the pitcher even tried to make the delivery, and the pitcher didn't even realize it. The pitcher was just
It
was he didn't make the motion, and the pitcher he made the break towards third base, and then the pitcher, then they were like, "Oh, he's going," and they still got him out, and nobody realized.
Base running is a miss in this. Base running is not our strong suit.
Yeah, it was not a good day for the Astros all around. Was that the difference in the game? No, not at all. But when you're only hit early in the game, was that, and then you get immediately erased on a weird caught stolen base, then yeah, a pickoff or whatever you want to call that. So,
and hey, how about Alex Cora getting thrown out today?
Yeah, on pitch, he went out there, and Chandler Rome was like describing it. He was like, he was kicking the dirt and trying to make it look like the way the slider was going on strike zone and everything. But he was just like, you know what? Screw it. I want to get tossed out of this game, and let me just show you how this pitch went, why it should have been a strike or ball or whatever situation was. So it was just hilarious. And a game he's already winning, he's just like, you know what? I want to go to the locker room. I just want to go watch some other game or something. So, but it was just funny. But it was one of those games where it was just like, okay, this is not as exciting as the other one. You're not going to win every game, but hopefully the next series is a little bit more exciting than this one game was. But the Astros did take care of business in other games, and we got to basically you don't get the last out. The last out of inning in third base and whatever. So. But before we look ahead towards the Blue Jay series, let's talk a little bit about Built Bar. I had an early dinner, and I'm actually kind of hungry. So let's talk a little bit about Built Bar before we get to the Blue Jay series.
So Built Bar is a protein bar, but it's actually a candy bar. Why? Because it's wrapped in 100% chocolate. But unlike a candy bar that packs on the calories and the pounds, this one doesn't. Limited calories, low sugar, low carbs, high protein, because protein actually fills you up. When you have something with a lot of sugar, it actually makes you crave more stuff, and it keeps you wanting to go back for more. Well, the good thing about Built Bar is you want to go back for more. Why? Because you didn't take in a ton of calories. You didn't use a ton of carbs on your little micro chart that you use. So if you're looking to lose or maintain weight, you need to check it out. Listen to these 9 delicious flavors: coconut almond, cherry, raspberry, mint brownie, peanut butter brownie, double chocolate, salted caramel. That's like Alvarez, Correa, Bregman, Altuve. I mean, that is an all-star lineup, right? 17 grams of protein in most of these bars, 130 calories in most of them, 4 grams of sugar, and only 4 grams of net carbs. And I'm telling you right now, if you haven't tried a Built Bar, then that's your bad. That is on you. Me, H-Town Wheelhouse, myself, Eric, we actually promote these things because we actually consume them because they're good for you. So go today to BuiltBar.com and use the promo code LOCKED15. That's LOCKED 15, and you'll get 15% off your first order. That's right. Use the promo code LOCKED15 and then go to BuiltBar.com because they are the only bar that you should consume when you're eating a protein bar.
All right, so the rough schedule continues with the Blue Jays coming to town, or I guess the Astros going not to Toronto because Americans are not allowed in Canada. And so instead
America's
we're going to Buffalo. So Buffalo is a place that Dusty Baker has not been to since 1969. For those of y'all that don't know how old I am, I was not born in 1969.
Hey, me neither.
And Brett was not either, even though he's much older than I am.
I am not much. Contremo for I am not. You're like, whatever, dude.
Anyway, the Blue Jays did not play today. They are 29-25 on the season. The Astros did play today. They are 31-25 on the season. The Blue Jays and Astros do compare pretty comparably. The Blue Jays, obviously, with their young talent, they have a lot more power in terms of home run power. They have 81 home runs compared to the Astros 61 home runs. Who do you think has the higher batting average, Brett?
Oh, the Astros do.
Yes, but the Blue Jays are second in baseball.
And apparently, all I know are baseball average stats for teams, so I definitely know that one,
Brett. So the Astros are batting 265, and the Blue Jays are second with 259 batting average. But the Blue Jays do have the higher OPS, which is a lot more important with 769. The Astros are 759. The runs, the Astros have scored 291 compared to the Blue Jays 272. The more important thing is the total bases, which is 798 compared to the Blue Jays 819. But if you go back to the strikeouts, of course, the Astros are at the bottom of the barrel again at 385, and the Blue Jays are 451. What does that mean? They have a young team that swings for the fences. So yeah, of course they're going to strike out a lot. And of course the Astros, they know what pitch is coming apparently, so they don't strike out a lot. So.
Yes, I know. Isn't that weird? Oh, hey, speaking of that, real quick, have you seen the Boston fan that came out on Twitter talking about Valdez switching his glove after the first inning? How he switched from a red glove to a black glove? Yeah, we're going to talk
about that in a second. Okay. So I just want to go through this real quick.
So do you want me to hit this Greinke versus Ryu matchup?
Not quite yet. I want to talk a little bit about the pitching matchup. I mean, the pitching stats. So the pitching stats are pretty comparable. The Astros have a 3.77 ERA. The Blue Jays have a 3.87 ERA. The on base, the opponent batting average is 221 for the Astros, 236. The WHIP is 119 for the Astros, 126 for Blue Jays, and the strikeouts are 498, 492 for the Blue Jays. So they're pretty even pitching wise. So the hitting, I mean, except for home runs and more total bases for Blue Jays, they're pretty much the same team. The Astros have scored more runs. That's why they have more wins. So I would have to lean towards the Astros in this series.
Yeah, I think the Astros come away with the series win, Eric, without question. They're going to have, all their guys in the lineup, are healthy. Tucker and Correa will be back. It'll be a little different playing in Buffalo since they've never played there before. It'll be a little more familiar to the Blue Jays. But you got Greinke on the mound. I'm interested to know because I don't know what the weather is right now. I don't know how cold it's going to be. I don't know if that's going to play a factor. You definitely won't see Jordan playing in the outfield if it's colder weather. So we have Zach Greinke, Eric, versus Ryu. And Zach Greinke is 5-2 on the season with a 3.67 ERA with 57 strikeouts. He's basically, after going 4 innings and 3 consecutive starts, he's 2-1 with a 2.45 ERA, a .77 whip in his last 3 starts, 2 of which he went 8 innings. He struck out 17 batters and walked only 4 in his last 22. That's the kind of pace you want Greinke on going against a powerful lineup like this. You want him to induce soft contact, get strikeouts, get a lot of swings and misses. Now, he's opposed by Ryu, who is 5-2 with a 6.62 ERA and 58 strikeouts. So he's got one more strikeout than Greinke. His last outing was basically he was at his best. He has battled ugly weather in Cleveland, and he earned the win even though he went through the ugly weather. With a 2.62 ERA, he has some of the best control. He's definitely an ace on this team. He is really locked and loaded, and he's ready to come at the Astros. The Astros, though, don't have a whole lot of they don't have a whole lot against him. They haven't seen him. Maybe that'll bode well for him. I would like to see Altuve come out swinging, get a little Jose Ole, as we call it in Houston, if we named it. Give Springer a Springer dinger. Is Springer playing again?
I'm not sure.
He's not, because he's not showing on this lineup. So I don't know if he's back in the lineup or not. I haven't looked at that.
Hey, real quick, Moises. Yeah. Yes, 5 for 9 in this homestand versus the teams that we played. We played the Dodgers, we played the Padres, and we played the Red Sox. Winning 5 of those games, yes, that is very impressive. So, yes, that is.
No, yeah, that is good. And we have the best record now in the MLB against teams that are 500 or better. We're actually better than the Brewers right now.
Now, if we can just beat the Rangers and the Tigers and the teams below 500.
Well, right now the Rangers aren't beating anybody right now. They're beating themselves. That's about it.
Yeah. So, real quickly, Jody wants to know about moving Jake to the bullpen when Lance is back. We kind of talked about that earlier in the podcast. I don't see it happening. He's going to have to struggle a few more times. In his last appearance, he pitched 6 innings, pitched really good. So he had a good appearance and a bad appearance. Now they're going to see what he does in the next appearance. So I think Lance McCullers has he's got to do a bullpen and maybe do a simulated game. So he has time. Make Stanek the closer. I don't think we're there yet.
No, I think no, because Presley, and I'll address that. Presley has been great. I mean, you don't want to take him out of the spot. And I'll be the first to admit, I'm willing to eat my words on saying I didn't want Presley as a closer. I didn't think he could do it. I just didn't think over the long haul he would last. And I thought someone like Stanek would be more primed to be your closer. Stanek's just now getting reliable again. He's starting to find his stuff again. He was shaky. I would not take a guy who's been shaky throughout most of the season and replace your top relief pitcher in Ryan Presley. Ryan Presley, that's his closing job. The only way he's not there is if something happens to him, and we don't want anything to happen to him.
I think the Astros have been doing a good job against the opposing pitchers recently. And yes, they've been doing a lot better late in the game versus the bullpen. But I think the Astros just struggled today for some reason. The offense was not there. Yes, a lot of people have said throughout the show that Dusty benched half the lineup. Yes, that was the issue. But you've got to rest these guys. And the Astros have already won 3 of the games. One loss in, June, is not going to keep the Astros out of the playoffs. So I think that they just went ahead and rested these guys. So once they get to Buffalo, they can not worry about this. So I know we need to talk about the other guys, but I do want to address this. There was reports out of Boston that Framber Valdez changed his glove after the first inning in the third game, and he went from a red glove to a black glove. Now, I asked Chandler Rome about this, and he said he didn't even notice about this, but he said that if this was something that had to do with a foreign substance or something, MLB was about to come down and crack down on this. So if this was something that they did on purpose, that was pretty stupid. But after the game,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
But I know that some people said that they did pictures of the glove and they didn't see any type of foreign material on there. But after the game, Ken Rosenthal came out and said that MLB informed owners this week of the severity issues with pitchers applying foreign substances to baseballs. Enforcement is coming, but league will follow a process involving communicating with players and umpires unions as well as the 30 clubs. So they are going to be cracking down on this.
Yet,
how are they going to do that? I don't know. Ask
well,
Tyler Bauer. He's going to be the first one they're going to be looking at. So
Tony Adams, the famous Astros fan that we've actually talked to about with the trash can bangs, actually showed the RPMs with Garrett Cole. And Garrett Cole, actually, Carabas, people were all over him. Jared Carabas, who basically covers the Red Sox, a big Red Sox guy, talked about how funny the day after they talk about this illegal substance ban, Garrett Cole has one of his worst outings of the season.
Right.
And he's not, maybe he's not using his stuff. We all know every club has something going on. They've got some kind of mixture. They all use there's something out there that they use. And baseball, I don't know, like hitters, I've actually heard don't mind a guy who can throw hard, have control of the ball to get it over the strike zone. I mean, that's what a lot of times keeps the ball over the plate and not in their skull. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the whole like Boston fan or someone accusing Valdez of cheating is
it was a radio host. And he has like
radio
90,000 followers. So this is but
he's a Boston John boy.
No, he's a Boston Josh Innes type.
Oh, shock jock. Okay, one of those guys.
Well, I don't know if he's a Boston Adam Clan. I don't know.
Adam, no, dude. Oh, Adam's my boy, man. Don't we do that?
Right, I'm not okay. One thing that we have not talked about on this show, and I don't want to end this podcast without talking about it, but Kent Emanuel is done for the season. He came out on Instagram and said that he is having surgery on his elbow, and he's saying this is not Tommy John.
It's not.
Hopefully, he's saying that the difference is that he's using the word repair, not reconstruction. And he's already had Tommy John, so he's hoping that like Rich Hill, who's had this surgery before where he repaired it, it's a shorter timeline for recovery. So hopefully he won't be out the entire 12 months or whatever it takes to do a recovery from Tommy John. But he supposedly had the surgery. He was going to have the surgery today. And this was something that he was trying to rehab from. He was trying to do injections and stem cells. And he was trying to do everything he could to avoid the dreaded surgery. But he just couldn't deal with it anymore. So maybe that's why we didn't see him being pitched a lot. Maybe he was dealing with the pain, and Dusty Baker is not going to come out.
I just thought Dusty didn't like him. I did. I was like, what? I was like, what's wrong? Did he say something wrong to Dusty? Did he like say, I don't like your tie-dye mask or what? I don't know. But the good thing is it's not a worst case scenario. You hate that it's out. You hate that it puts him out, because after our interview with him, he's definitely a guy that has been waiting for his moment, waiting for his chance. So I know that he'll do like he did before. He'll grind, he'll rehab, and be back hopefully in an Astros uniform sooner rather than later.
Right. So they won't know for sure until they actually get in there. So we don't know if he had. I think that Brian McTaggart said that he actually had the surgery today.
Yeah.
And so it's a bit trickier because you count on a hand how many major leaguers actually had this repair surgery done. But this guy's 28 years old. He's already had his career sidelined by the suspension. He's already had it sidelined by Tommy John, other injuries. So he's going to miss at least the rest of this season, if not more. So he's still going to be under Astros control. But this guy, it was supposed to be a big part of the Astros bullpen. So this is a big loss for the Astros. This is a big loss for Kent Emanuel. And so hopefully it's not going to be a long time for him. So hopefully, good luck to you in your recovery, Kent Emanuel. And this guy is somebody who showed a lot of promise. And good luck coming back. And Brett, any final thoughts?
No, I just, I'm excited about this series because not only do we get to see Zach Greinke throw for the Astros, we get to see Jose Urquidy, who is just on fire, and we get to see hopefully future all-star pitcher Luis Garcia go against Steven Matz. So those are some good pitching matchups to watch the Astros go against. I really think that they can easily win the first and the second game. I know Ryu's on his stuff, but I think stripling the second game will be an easy win. And the third one will be a little bit tougher, Steven Matz, but I believe that we touched him up a little bit whenever we played against him. So this is a good series for us. I say the Astros win this series 2-3 and continue on their ways of winning series and then going back to Boston to get revenge for that Game 4 loss.
All righty. And I say if the Astros win tomorrow's game, they sweep the series. So I think tomorrow's game could be the big one versus Ryu because he is a tough cookie and the Astros have their hands full. So guys, that's all we got for tonight's Locked On Astros podcast. And if you want some more sports talk, get all the sports news you need in under 20 minutes with the Locked On Today podcast. Host Peter Bukowski updates you with all the latest news in every major sport with the help of the local experts. Follow the Locked On Today podcast in the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. And we'll be back next week with the Locked On Astros podcast.